Hi, you guys. This is the long awaited story of how I met my husband. So, if you would like to watch, stay tuned. This is done in voiceover.
Hold up. Ho.
Hi, you guys. So, I'm going to give you a little background of how everything occurred, not just on a mental level, but also a spiritual level. In 2014, prior to meeting my husband, both of my parents died a week apart. So I was a little depressed. I was looking for something and I wasn't sure what it was. I left and went to Miami. I came back to Atlanta and I started seeing one particular guy. And as I was seeing him, I was also attending a church and finding God at the same time. But this guy was saying that he was spiritual. He was saying that God had told him about me, that I was going to be his wife. And I kind of believed him because not only was I looking for something, I was also attracted to him. Although I was still celibate at the time and not looking to be intimate with anybody, I was looking at this relationship as if it was my future. After that, I was listening to God and I was praying and I was asking God to show me something. And the funny thing about it, God showed me a shadow in my house. And the size of the shadow, the build of the shadow, and even the placement of the shadow as if it was a person standing there. And I wasn't scared because spiritually I had asked and prayed to God to show me. I said, Lord, I need to see a physical sign of if this guy is the guy I'm supposed to be with. Shortly after that, a friend of mine confirmed that this wasn't the guy that I was supposed to be with. And it's just, she did it with logic. She didn't even do it with spirituality. And me and this guy broke up. So then I started seeing somebody else. I wasn't dating. I was just getting a number and the guy was we were talking. He was, I'm spiritual. I see you as my wife. Again, he had approached me as if God had told him that I was his future wife. And I didn't quite fall into it as I did the first time. So I was giving God time to answer. And again, the same shadow appeared. And again, this guy was not built like this shadow. So again, I let this guy go. Then I stopped dating. I got in a little depressing state. I was asking God for clarity of mind, clarity of heart. And I had a dentist appointment in the summer because I finally said I'm going to work on me. I'm going to get me together. And I asked a friend because I didn't have transportation to take me to my dentist appointment. And she said she would. So when I got there, they had told me, oh, we canceled your appointment. But she was already gone. And when I called her back, they were telling me, yeah, we would take you because somebody just canceled. But the next time you have to confirm your appointment 3 days or 2 days before, and then we won't cancel you because we automatically cancel if you don't confirm through text or a phone call. So I was sitting in the waiting room and this other guy was sitting next to me, and all of a sudden me and him started having a conversation. We were laughing, we were talking. By then, this was months after I had seen the shadow, and I knew that this particular guy, because of the weight and build of him, that it was him, but I was still having a conversation with this guy. And when he asked me for my number, I said, no, I'm sorry. And by the time I got out of the dentist's office, my friend could not have picked me up because they had to give me a later appointment. So she told me to meet her at the Wing 101. And at this point, I was not eating meat. I told her I would treat her to lunch, and it just so happens that's what she wanted to eat. So when I got there, I sat down on the bench waiting for her to come so I can order her food and mine. Even though I didn't eat meat, I was going to order some type of fry or some type of rice, and I was going to sit there and wait with her while she eats. But it ended up happening. She was still running late, and it was a time crunch because she had to pick up her kids. But as I sat on the bench, I felt this person next to me. I didn't even look and see who was sitting next to me. It's just that I felt him. And I turned around and I looked at him, and it just so happens he was looking at me. And we just started talking. It was just like organic, the way I was talking to him. And I felt a little tingle inside of me. And I was like, wow, this guy is just, he was attractive. The things that he was saying was very, very on point. We didn't even talk religion the first time we met. We just talked about the state of the world and what was going on and having a casual conversation. And I was like in awe of everything he was saying. And I was still not thinking about that shadow, not thinking about the shadow built. I was just talking to this particular guy. And at the time, again, I did not know my husband was Nigerian, but I realized this person was well read. And it made sense now to know that if you're coming to a country, you would know so much things that was going on. And I was just enjoying the conversation. So my friend came almost 20, 30 minutes after I'd sat there talking to him, and he was waiting on his food. Actually, he went back and said, I'm going to order something for my roommate while I'm talking to you so that give us more time to talk. And I was like, wow, okay. So he had called his roommate, asked his roommate if his roommate would like something to eat. Of course, the roommate said yes, and then my husband ordered the roommate something. So it was a lot of people there. We weren't the only people, but we were the only people sitting on that particular bench. And I was in awe. I enjoyed talking to my husband. And when my friend came in, she ordered what she wanted, and his roommate food was ready. So as we were waiting on her food and mine, because I'd ordered some fries, him and her and I started a conversation. And it was just like, wow. Even when he was talking to her, I kind of felt that pull, like that anointings, or that just that spirituality in my husband. So it was like, whoa. And I didn't even think about this shadow. I didn't think about God. I was just like into this guy. But finally, when he asked for my number in front of my friend, and I was like, God, should I? And I wasn't going to. That's the thing. I was not going to give him my number. But something inside of me pulled and said, give him the number. Give him my number. So when I gave him my number and he gave me his, he texted me as soon as I got in the car. And it was just to say, I really enjoyed talking to you. I would like to get to know you. Can you call me later? And before I can reply, he then calls me, and on the ride to my house, as my friend was dropping off, he was on, well, some of the time, I put him on speakerphone, and it was just the things that he was saying to the both of us. And then I would take him off speakerphone and we would talk. And the conversation was just making me happy. I was laughing. I was joking. It was just one of those moments where I felt a tingle all over. And I was in a state of mind of happiness. Immediately, we were on the phone every day, talking every day. I would ask him at random to test him to send me a picture of him so I can send it to certain family members that I knew were spiritually inclined so they can see something, if this particular guy was something to me, or if he was just, somebody random and I should just let it go, because I didn't trust my opinion of this guy, because I was just in awe of him. I was just like, wow, So my family members was like, we seen you depressed for the last almost 2 years, and now you're happy and we're happy because we see this in you and he's bringing it out. At the time, I still did not think about that shadow, and I was not asking God for guidance. And finally, when he wanted to meet up, I was like, Lord, I need you. I need guidance. I need you to tell me if this is somebody I should be interested in. And I never let him pick me up. Every time we would go out, I would always have him, I would always be dropped off to him or meet him somewhere. So I finally let him come to my house. And the first thing I seen when he stepped through the door, because that's where I first seen that shadow of him, was at my door. And it was the correct height, the correct build. It was everything. And I told him this, and he said he had prayed for a wife and he thought I was she. And one of our first dates was at the church. One of my first memories was of him telling me how he worshiped God. So I always take that into consideration every time, even now when we argue or when we have our disagreements, because cultural is real. And I have that in another video, but I always take that in consideration now, where we are now. I wasn't trying to be so spiritual with this video, but I wanted to give you guys my truth. And this is what I felt, or what really happened when I met my husband. So I always remember that the death of a parent is never easy. And my husband came at a point in my life where God was telling me I needed to be more spiritually inclined and I need to be more spiritual. And my husband helped me stay grounded, not just mentally, but physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So that's one of the reasons why, even though I have problems culturally with my husband, it works and it continues to work. So I just wanted to give you guys an insight of what occurred and everything that had happened at that point. And this was one of the hardest videos that I did, but I press on. And I thank everybody for being there. Have a good day. Love you guys.